I was confident going into that. I was confident going into it, but the execution was quite frankly awful from Manchester United. Now, the first two goals, the first goal, I was a bit annoyed at half-time, actually, because I thought United had been way better. It's irrelevant now. It's absolutely irrelevant now, but I have to get it out because it annoyed me so much at half-time. The commentary team, outside of Roy Keane, the pundits, they were saying, oh, City have been fantastic and blah, blah, blah. They were good in the second half. They weren't that good in the first half at all, I don't think. And they were saying, City have exposed United's system. And I was thinking, no, they've not. What's happened? Doku has done Luke Shaw 1v1 with a brilliant little bit of skill, gone right through him. He's took it to the byline and he's tried to cross it. From that moment, it's ricocheted off Ugarte. Now, that could have just been cleared. How many times do you see the ball in that situation and it gets punted out for a corner? Happens all the time. It doesn't. Ricochets back to Doku, who just floats one into an area. And Bruno Fernandes has allowed Phil Foden to run off him. 1-0. How was two people's errors and one bad bit of luck with Ugarte? Because you can't blame Ugarte for that. Like you can't say, oh, he should have cleared it out for a corner. No, if he did, nice one. If he doesn't, unlucky. It's just one of them. Bruno's allowed Foden to run off him. He's switched off, showing that he's not fit to be one of the deeper midfielders, unless you've got like a real monster of a defensive unit alongside him. But even then, certain games, and the Etihad away is not that game that you can play in midfield, right? Otherwise, stick him in a forward three. I think Amorim got his selection wrong today. Like I said, my point was that they got that wrong. The analysis was wrong, in my opinion, for the City's system has exposed United, or City have exposed United's system. Certainly not for that first goal. Second goal, Luke Shaw gets run off. There's nowhere near him. Luke Shaw had an awful game. But pressure's going to be on the manager because that's how it works. And you got Chelsea next week and you got Liverpool in like 3 or something. Like this run is horrendous. This run is absolutely horrendous. There's no sort of positives that you can sort of take from this. There's none. We had chances. Yeah, you were going to get chances because you've got personnel that are really suited to the counter-attack. And at times, we shone a little bit of danger, but there was no final ball and there was certainly no clinical finishing from us. In the first half, especially when you had those opportunities, we weren't taking them. We had a period where I thought we looked really, early on in the game, we looked really good. City looked rattled. We were stretching them, but we never capitalised. And that's the ruthlessness that you need in these games. Playing Bruno alongside Ugarte with the 5 that are in front, I felt like it was a recipe for disaster. You know, he throws on the likes of Xerxes and Casemiro late on in the game. But the chance to sort of like dominate at set plays, you need Casemiro for all that because there's nobody else in the team. Maybe Xerxes, but he doesn't know that yet. To dominate at set plays has gone. That's no longer an option for you. So you've got to go and try and manage the game. And that requires you having a lockdown defence. Now, the fact that you put Mazraoui right wing back, again, I got no issue with that. I went with that as an idea because I thought he was going to probably go with Casemiro and probably Ugarte as a midfield too, maybe Menu. Move Bruno into where you ended up playing Ahmad. And maybe you get a little bit of pressing out of him there. I mean, I don't think Ahmad was particularly bad. I don't think Mbuemo was particularly bad. I don't even think Sesko was particularly bad. I just don't think that Manchester United had enough of the ball or enough quality in the final third to really punish what City were doing. We went close a couple of times, but that was it. like I said, man, the manager's going to find himself in under pressure here. And maybe he should. Because he is getting, like, look, ultimately, like, yeah, things are going to take time. No doubt about it whatsoever. But we're not seeing tactical changes. We're not seeing him learning from the mistakes that he's making. Players are allowed to make mistakes, right? And then they have to learn from them. If they don't learn from them, then they get moved on. Managers are no different to that. You are allowed to make mistakes. That's what that last 9 months where we've not won a back-to-back fucking game has been. You've been allowed to make a lot of mistakes. You've been given time to make those mistakes. I'm not sitting here saying that right now you have to go toe-to-toe with Manchester City and beat them at the Etihad. I'm not saying that. But where's your learning from the mistakes, man? Where is the manager learning from the mistakes? Like, where are they analysing this game and saying, okay, what happened in that game? Oh, the same thing that's happened time and time again. We might not, I think one of them maybe today was on the transition in that sense. In fact, it was, wasn't it? Not all the goals we are conceding are on the transition, but we look incredibly vulnerable on that transition. Why do we look so vulnerable on that transition? Because we're not doing the things that we're supposed to. You've got both midfielders looking at press. You've got Bruno vacating areas all over the place. He's just not got the natural instincts. I don't think any of us me included, I'm not saying I'm better than you lot in the slightest, right? I just don't think any of us fully understand the fucking speed of the Premier League. And asking people to do stuff that's not in their nature and instinct means that you're going to be half a step behind. So when Bruno's natural instincts are to press, to chase, to get after every loose ball like a puppy, and it's not to delay and hold like a Mazraoui maybe it would have been. You know, we did a video saying, would Mazraoui be suited to the 6? And unequivocally, yes. Because he's just great in the duels. You know, he's got really good, intelligent football instincts, defensive first instincts as well. Would he have been a better option alongside Ugarte? Yes. Yes. I don't know where you go from here. Chelsea, despite dropping points this weekend, I feel like they're just too good for us to... I don't know how we're going to get something out of them. I just see us getting run ragged by teams at the moment, and I think that the team's taking up the general right kind of shapes on and off the ball, but the quality and maybe the reason why we're taking up those shapes is missing, or the natural instincts within the players in those shapes is missing, because we might be in the right shape, but we're not doing the right thing. You're not closing down the correct runs. You're not picking up the stupid little mistakes. You know, the second goal, you look at the positioning of everyone. Again, Bruno's pressed. Was it him that got megged? Don't know if it was him that got megged or someone else. We close them down. We have players in the right position. Lenny Yoro gets nowhere near his man. Luke Shaw gets nowhere near Erling Haaland, even though he's quite clearly the one that's marking him. You know, I thought Luke Shaw had a terrible game, but he certainly wasn't on his own. Bruno had a terrible game, but Ugarte was poor. Dorgu started well and then offered next to nothing in the second half. It's just one of those, man, where you think something has to give, something has to change. If we're going to improve and we're going to get better, you have to change something. Can't just keep doing the same thing and think you're going to get a different result with it. It's not going to happen like that. Anyway, give us your thoughts in the comments below. I'll just do a real quick rest in peace to Ricky Hatton, who took his life last night. I will do a video tomorrow, which I will just entitle "My Walk in the Morning." I think is the perfect time to reflect on it. Not right now after the game, but you know, I will cover this tomorrow. I wouldn't call Ricky Hatton a friend. I didn't have his phone number. I'm just a fan. I've maybe met him, you know, a dozen times or so. But I got a lot to say about him, his legacy, and stuff like that. And one of the reasons why we do that video in the morning, and the last few ones we've been talking about, you know, checking in with friends. Well, this is why. So I will do tomorrow's morning walk in tribute to Ricky Hatton, a great Mancunian. And that's what we'll do tomorrow's video on. And we'll just put a full dedicated video to him. Anyway, that was embarrassing, wasn't it? I don't know if it's going to get any better over the next week. Cheers for tuning in. 5 things, player ratings, and, you know, we'll talk about Ricky Hatton in the morning. Take it easy, everyone. See you later.